If you want to know how to use Twitter as a lead generation magnet, watch this video. What's going on, everyone? Carlos Gil here, also known as @CarlosGil83 on Twitter. Now, let's jump right into it. A lot of folks out there, when they meet me, assume that my favorite social network is Instagram or Facebook, or back in the day, Snapchat. What they don't know is that Twitter is the OG gangster of social media. I've had a Twitter account since April of 2009, and back in the day, during the recession, when I was growing a tiny startup in Jobs Direct USA, I was successfully able to use Twitter to do a lot of what I'm gonna share with you in this video here today, which is really how to grow a following and a business with zero budget. The first step is you have to use Twitter as a search engine. If anything else, if you never post a single tweet, you can still use Twitter as a search engine. In fact, no different than Google or YouTube. You can go on Twitter right now and you can type in specific search phrases to find people speaking about similar interests or topics, or to go ahead and see who's interested in your services. I work a lot with real estate agents, and I encourage real estate agents to go on Twitter every single day and literally run a search for moving to your city, relocating to your city, looking for a home in your city. That's how easy it is to use Twitter as a search engine to find leads. Once again, you don't have to be an active content creator on Twitter. You don't have to participate in Twitter chats. You never have to send a single tweet to get the value out of Twitter, as crazy as that sounds. Just use Twitter as a search engine. The other thing that you want to do is use Twitter to see what's being said about your competition and about your industry. Social media, my friends, is the wild, wild west. And no one ever talks about this, but you can use Twitter right now in real time to see what's being said about your competitors. And guess what? If someone's having a bad experience with who your competition is, that is a prime opportunity for you to swoop in and go ahead and form a relationship with that new customer of yours who used to be a customer or a follower or a supporter of your competition. How do you use LinkedIn and Twitter together? Well, I consider LinkedIn and Twitter to be the perfect marriage. In fact, back in the day when I was growing my business, I would go on LinkedIn, I would research on LinkedIn who it is that I want to do business with and learn all about their professional background. And then guess what I would do? I'd go over to Twitter and I would look up their name to see if they had a Twitter account, or I'd go on Google and type in their name plus Twitter. And if they were on Twitter, I would go ahead and connect with them there. That is no different than what I recommend to anyone today that's using LinkedIn to sell. Most of the networking and sales doesn't happen on LinkedIn. However, LinkedIn is an extremely valuable database to find business professionals. So what you want to do is go on LinkedIn search, use LinkedIn to search executives or find executives at companies that you want to do business with. And it's as simple as literally going to LinkedIn search, type in the name of the company that you want to do business with, and start looking at who their executive team is, and then go over to Google or go over to Twitter, find those individuals now that you know who are the decision makers at these organizations, and then just start having conversation with them. It's literally mind-blowing how easy this is, but is a step that is commonly overlooked. I speak to so many professionals that make money and they're good at what they do, and I'll ask them, are you on Twitter? And they'll always say to me, like, no, I need to get on it. Is there any value in Twitter? Oh, I don't get it. It's so complicated. Once again, people, it's a search engine. So there's a little degree of social stalking that goes into sales online. And if you're using LinkedIn already, you should be on Twitter, and you should be really using both of them to, once again, identify on LinkedIn who do you want to do business with, and then start having conversations with them over on Twitter. Now, I know what you're probably thinking. What am I going to have conversations with these individuals about? And it's simple. Whatever they're talking about in the moment, go with the flow. With Twitter, you don't need permission to hop into a conversation. That's what I love about the platform. You don't have to be friends like you are on Facebook. You don't have to be in a private mastermind group or anything like that. If someone tweets something out on Twitter, it is open game for you to just swoop in, like a hawk and start having conversations openly. The next tip is a super gangster tip. Are you ready for it? Use Twitter to look up conference hashtags. Now hear me out. It is logistically impossible and also very expensive to get to every industry conference. However, with social media and an iPhone, you can participate in discussions happening at a conference in real time as if you were even there. The beauty of it is you can form new relationships with people that are at an industry conference without ever having to travel. So it's really simple. You know the industry conferences in the field that you work in probably better than I. Start creating a Excel spreadsheet of when these conferences are happening and what the hashtag is. And then create hashtag searches which you save right onto your phone or your desktop computer so you can start monitoring the conversations happening and who is starting these conversations. And then once the conference actually takes place, start jumping into the conversations. Like I said before in the last tip, it's open territory. It's the wild, wild west of social media. So what's gonna happen is as you're getting involved in these conversations around industry conferences, there's gonna be a perception of, wow, maybe this person is here. I should connect with them too. They're important. They're in my space. What you wanna do is you wanna get to the executives that are networking online, on Twitter specifically, at these conferences. So here's often what happens. Someone will be on stage and they'll be like a chief marketing officer for a brand. And a bunch of people start tweeting them out and they're tagging the person along with the conference hashtag. This is great, you want this. So what you're gonna do is as soon as that person gets off the stage and now the social media feed starts to die down because they've already spoken and the next person's on, what you wanna do is you wanna then swoop in and say like, hey Matt or hey Jill, that was a great talk, I really enjoyed it, kudos. I'd love to connect on LinkedIn, is that okay? What you wanna do is get on this person's radar. The good thing is you already know that they exist. Now you're on their radar, you're engaging in the conference discussion, and hopefully what they do is they acknowledge you back, and then you connect on LinkedIn and you can tell them how amazing you are. So this is where I go back to LinkedIn. Remember, like I said before, there's a marriage between LinkedIn and Twitter. You really can't use one without the other. So the key is when you follow back up on LinkedIn. You want to connect with this individual that spoke at the conference, that you rode the wave of the conference hashtag, and then you want to remind them in your introductory email or connection request to them, follow up from Twitter and put the conference hashtag. Once again, there's gonna be a perception that you were at the conference. You never have to mention that you weren't at the conference. You followed along the conference hashtag and you saw that they had a good talk. So you, in essence, attended virtually, but you never have to disclose that you weren't there. You can continue riding that momentum wave. Hey, once again, it's great to connect with you over here on LinkedIn. We connected on Twitter. You had a great talk at XYZ conference. I'd love to stay in touch. Boom! Do that at every single industry trade show. I guarantee you, if you're watching this video now and you do this over the next year, you're gonna come back to me and you're gonna say, thank you so much. This Carlos made a huge impact to my bottom line. And guess what? If you don't do it, you're missing out. The last tip, my friends, is a controversial one, so I wanna save it to the end, and it's called list jacking. What is list jacking? It's very simple. If you go to most industry trade publications, like for example, Entrepreneur on Twitter, and you go to their profile and you see what lists they are added to, you're gonna see lists that have already been curated with thought leaders, with media, with brands. Once again, if you're looking to sell, then you're gonna wanna look at the list for trade organizations that have executives at companies. This is a super easy way for you to cut through the clutter. So when you list jack, you start going publication by publication, you start seeing what list they're added to, and then you can also see people that have been added to these lists, provided they're executives and also decision makers of the companies that they work. Now you have like a legit prospect list that you can do everything I've just mentioned in this video, which is connect, engage, go to LinkedIn, message them, go stalk them online. Like not literally, but go see what they're posting and where, and more importantly, go have a conversation with them. All right, that is it for how you can go ahead and use Twitter to generate more leads. Once again, you can find me at Carlos Gil 83 on Twitter. If you also want to connect with me, I'm on LinkedIn also at Carlos Gil. Let's make it happen. Hopefully you got amazing value from this video. And if you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up and share it out on social media. Until next time, thanks.